Yeah, you make a good point. I mean, I referenced that in my column. Nancy Pelosi, again, I mean, I think she's a nut, but she's a very productive nut.
All right,
and she got her party the majority by just simply opposing President Bush.
One of the things that's going on right now is the live chat is cooking.
Oh boy.
Like we've put some olive oil in the skillet here. And Savitsky, who has a beautiful American flag as his avatar, says, Andrea, she doesn't have the votes. Nancy is...
How do you know? No offense, Mr. What's it,
Savitsky.
Savitsky? How do you know? The woman would never bring a vote to the floor that she couldn't win.
And, you know, it's interesting, though, because when you look at... I want to go back to a point that you made.
Yeah.
You said that she has done her job. So you look at the fact that John Boehner then is the designate among the Republicans to lead the House now that Republicans have the majority in the House. Is he going to be as good as she is? I mean, you apply her as the litmus, as the template for this, and look at him and what he can do.
Well, it's different, too, when the president is not of your own party. So people said, well, look at how she was when she was minority leader, or look at how she was when she was speaker when President Bush was in. Very, very divisive. She had to run against the president of the opposing party. It's a very different role when you're president, when the president is of your party and when he's not.
Having said that, what does Boehner bring to the table that will be effective?
I think Boehner knows the House of Representatives extremely well. I think he knows the issues very well, and I think he knows the caucus very, very well. I have the utmost confidence that he'll do his job. I think he understands what happened on Tuesday. I mean, that's the chatter in sort of the back rooms, is that this is a guy who fundamentally understands what happened, and he knows he's got to produce. He's been in the House long enough to know what it's like to lose the majority, and he knows if he doesn't, he's going to be thrown out. So I think he's going to play hardball with the president. He's going to be just as tough a speaker as Nancy Pelosi was with President Bush, as he will be with Obama.
David, any thoughts on that before we move on?
I think he's got some major challenges with the Tea Party members that are coming in and what their expectations are, and wanting to unconditionally, in part out of principle, yield none at all. And Boehner knows that that is not going to be possible if we're going to legislate and put reforms in place to address the challenges of, you know, the American working family. And he's going to have to work with the minority leader and the Democratic leadership, as well as the president. Sure. And he's going to have to, you know, set the stage for the Senate, where it's going to be very complicated to get any kind of bill passed for signature by the president.
All right, 10 seconds.
Very quickly, this Tea Party Republican infighting, I think, is a bunch of baloney, actually. I think that whether you're a Tea Party member, you're a Republican member.
Yet. Everybody keeps saying it's
well, the Democrats keep saying it. They're just hoping that there'll be a big fight. It's like the in-law that hasn't arrived yet.
Well, you're seeing it on the issue of earmarks. Everybody's sort of iffy now on earmarks.
Who's iffy? The president, Eric Cantor, John Boehner, most of the House of Representatives agrees. I've only seen Mitch McConnell really, as far as leadership, come out and say, but that doesn't prove your point that a Tea Party member David, that does not prove your point. You just said that there is a big divide between establishment and Tea Party. That's not true. That's a Democratic talking point designed to distract everybody. Everyone's on the same page when it comes to fiscal responsibility, Tea Party or otherwise.
All right, guys, let's move on real quickly, David, if you'll allow me. I didn't give much bio information on David Mercer this morning because I was kind of saving it. And I want to just do this quickly before we are joined by Bob Beckel on the phone. I want to share with everybody, Mr. Mercer, that you have served in your past as the Deputy National Finance Director for the Democratic National Committee. You served as the DNC's 96th Convention Finance Director. And I say all of that, and I should get some other points out there too. You've organized some high-profile events for President Bill Clinton, Vice President Al Gore, First Lady Hillary Clinton, Mrs. Tipper Gore, so on and so forth, and a bunch of cabinet officials. You are a guy who really understands what the job would be of the chairman of either of the party committees. And I bring all this up because there's a huge, and it's on the front page of FoxNews.com this morning, there's a huge push in the Republican Party right now that's being reported on that they want Michael Steele out, the chairman of the RNC. And since you have some experience, and you're going to have to loosen the straps on that partisan hat and just kind of look strategically here, is Michael Steele the right guy to lead a national committee for the Republicans right now? Can he get the job done of raising money? Because as I understand it, that's his #1 job. Your opinion?
it's not only raising money, but it's also managing your operations and the money and how you allocate it and make it, as efficient as possible. And there's been some question marks as to whether Chairman Steele has been effective in doing that. The other issue he has to deal with is he continues, whether, in making misstatements or otherwise, to draw attention to himself as opposed to, again, addressing and advancing, the party's objectives in seeking out its agenda. And so there have been some big question marks, and I think if he continues to be a distraction away from the positive advancement of the Republicans' agenda, then, he's going to be hurting the party, and somebody's going to have to whisper to him that it's better off that he step aside. I don't see yet a outward challenge to him when the party gathers, probably I would think in February or March, although there are whispers that there are those behind the scenes hoping a candidate, trying to encourage opposition to him, but I haven't seen that crystallize yet.
All right.
Yeah.
David Mercer, founder of Mercer and Associates, we appreciate you this morning. Thank you. Come back anytime. And you and Andrea now are friends. You'll have to tweet.
Will do.
We found common ground on
And we'll connect
Pelosi.
later on tweet.
Who would have thunk it?
All right. Thanks a lot, David.
All right. Have a good weekend.
You too.